This is a book called President Donald J. Trump, the Son of Man, the Christ. Now, somebody sent me a picture of this book at a Trump rally a while back. Apparently, the guy who wrote it, Helgard Muller, has been going to Trump rallies, passing a copy of his book out to everybody. Let me give you an idea of the premise of the argument here. In the Bible, there are two messianic roles. There's a Son of God and the Son of Man. The Son of God was obviously fulfilled by Jesus. He came to earth, died for your sins, and all of that other good stuff, right? The Son of Man is referred to in the Bible in a number of Old Testament books. The book of Daniel, I think, mentions the Son of Man, the book of Ezekiel, and some others. The Son of Man is supposed to be like a cosmic judge who comes along at the end, sparks Armageddon into existence, and judges all of the good people and the bad people, basically. The assumption is that Jesus is going to come back a second time, take control of the Israeli political system. That's why Israel needs to exist as a nation before Jesus could come back, because that's one of the requirements for the Son of Man, for somebody to be the Son of Man, and then spark Armageddon into place. That's the belief among standard Christianity. This guy's argument, Helgard Muller, is that America is the new Israel, that the founding fathers were descendants of the original Jews that came up through the Caucasus Mountains or whatever else. Complete nonsense, just totally made up. And that Trump took control of the political system in New Israel, which made him the Son of Man. So that is their argument for Trump being the second coming of Jesus. That's what this book is all about, so I wanted to give it a read. We've been reading it already. If you haven't seen the previous parts, don't sweat it. You don't have to see the others to understand what's happening in the current chapter. Do not believe literally a single fact, a single statistic, a single word out of this guy's mouth, just based on what I've already read. Even the most basic facts, like the names of political parties or the translation of words, are wrong. He lies about them constantly. So before you believe a single thing out of this book, make sure you fact check it. And one more thing before we actually get into the book. Some of it can be pretty graphic. The guy is a rabid racist, does not like the black community, grew up in South Africa during the period of segregation called apartheid, and is very obviously an extremely hateful person. So just be aware of that before walking into the book. Without further ado, let's get into it. This is Donald J. Trump, the Son of Man, the Christ, written by Helgard Muller. This is chapter 34, President Donald John Trump and the Two Impeachments. The way the guy wrote the book was to closely model or kind of closely mirror the formatting of the Bible, or what he believes the formatting of the Bible to be. He thinks that the Bible was written with Bible code, like there's some secret message hidden in each sentence to be found in the Bible. So, yeah, the whole thing is absolutely bizarre. And anyway, let's give this chapter a read. I'd be willing to bet he's going to try to hide some messages in here. The first impeachment of Donald Trump occurred when Donald Trump, the 45th President of the United States, was impeached by the House of Representatives of the 116th United States Congress on December 18th, 2019. The House adopted 2 articles of impeachment against Trump: abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. The Senate acquitted Trump of these charges on February 5th, 2020. I'm just trying to, think about this, make sure that this is all right. The second impeachment of Donald Trump... Yeah, so the first impeachment was Trump trying to pressure Ukraine to start an investigation on his political opponent, and he wouldn't, release money that was already promised to them until they agreed to. That's why he was impeached the first time. The second impeachment of Donald Trump, the 45th President of the United States, occurred on January 13th, 2021, 1 week before his term expired. It was the 4th impeachment of a United States president and the second for Trump after his first impeachment in December 2019. Wait, who was the first impeachment? There was Nixon, Bill Clinton, and then 2 for Trump. Okay. Yeah, the one for Clinton was a complete sham. It was ridiculous. 10 Republican representatives voted for the second impeachment, the most pro-impeachment votes ever from a president's party. Well, there was an impeachment of Nixon, but there wasn't actually a vote because he resigned before the vote could actually take place, from my understanding. So the only example that we have is Bill Clinton. And it was a complete sham. Clinton's impeachment was. It was for sleeping with Monica Lewinsky. Like, why is that anybody's business? Yeah, that's unethical or whatever. That's not an impeachment-worthy cause. So when he says the most pro-impeachment, one word by the by, no spaces in there. When he says the most pro-impeachment votes ever from a president's party, that's not a hard bar to reach because it's only happened to Trump practically and once to Clinton. But okay. This is also the first presidential impeachment in which all majority caucus members voted unanimously for impeachment. Again, it's only happened one other time. At the trial, 57 senators voted guilty, which is less than the two-thirds majority needed, or 67, to convict Trump. And 43 senators voted not guilty, resulting in Trump being acquitted of the charges on February 13th, 2021. February 13th, 2021 is 1 Adar 5781 in the Jewish calendar. In Jewish history, 1 Adar, circa 1313 BCE, is the plague of darkness, the ninth plague upon the Egyptians from Exodus. How does he know this? This is not, the plagues weren't even real, first of all. And second, how would anybody even know when the plagues were supposed to have taken place? This is completely made up. This started on the 1st of Adar, 6 weeks before the Exodus. Impeachment is the process by which a legislative body or other legally constituted tribunal initiates charges against a public official for misconduct. Impeachment may be understood as a unique process involving both political and legal elements. The story of Jesus, the Son of God, also received 2 impeachments. Okay. On both impeachments, Jesus was acquitted, according to Matthew 26. What impeachments could Jesus have faced? The first impeachment Jesus received was that Jesus said that he could destroy the temple of the Lord and to build it in 3 days, Matthew 26. The second impeachment was if he were the Christ, the Son of God, Matthew 26:63. What? This makes no sense at all. Am I the only one that sees this as complete nonsense? Like, I don't even understand the words that he's putting next to each other right now. The second impeachment was if he were the Christ, the Son of God? What? This means nothing. This means literally nothing at all. On both impeachments, they could not find Jesus, the Son of God, guilty, and the same with President Donald J. Trump, the Son of Man. Jesus was executed on the third impeachment when he referred in the third person that hereafter shall ye see the Son of Man, sitting on the right hand of power and coming in the clouds of heaven. And he believes that to be President Donald J. Trump. That's what he put in parentheses there. Ye shall see the Son of Man, President Donald J. Trump, sitting on the right hand of power. Jesus referred to the other Christ, President Donald J. Trump, who will sit on the right hand of God. Okay, and that's the end of that chapter. Wow, that was really short. It's like at the beginning, these chapters are normal lengths, and now they're each like a page long. This is just straight up bizarre. Chapter 35, President Donald John Trump, the smitten president, and the scattered Republicans. January 6th, 2021 was the day when the revelation became even stronger than ever that President Donald John Trump is the other Christ, the Son of Man. It was on this day that I realized that the day of judgment is closer than ever when President Donald John Trump will stand on the right hand of God. It was on this day that Donald John Trump revealed himself as the other Christ. The 6th of January 2021 is the day when President Trump got smitten and the followers, or disciples, of Trump got scattered. Just how Jesus was smitten and his disciples got scattered, according to Matthew 26. Okay. Jesus, the Son of God, told his disciples just before he was captured by the Jews, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid." John 14, okay. "And again, these things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace. In the world ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer, I have overcome the world." Which sounds exactly like what President Donald Trump said on the 6th of January to his supporters on the live television, to have peace. At 4:17 p.m., President Trump released a chilling pre-taped video on Twitter reiterating his claims of a rigged election, but telling his supporters who are at the U.S. Capitol, "Go home, we love you, you're very special." This is a quote from that video, supposedly. Again, don't trust a word in this, not one single thing he says, but this is a quote, supposedly, from that video. "I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order," Trump posted on Twitter. "We don't want anybody hurt. It's a very tough period of time. There's never been a time like this where such a thing happened, where they could take it away from all of us, from me, from you, from our country. This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people." Luke 24:7. He just cited Luke 24:7 in the middle of this quote from Trump. "We have to have peace, so go home. We love you. You're very special. We have seen what happens. You see the way others are treated that are so bad and so evil. I know how you feel, but go home and go home in peace." End quote. At 6:01 p.m., Trump tweeted, "These are the things and events that happen when a sacred landslide election victory is so unceremoniously and viciously stripped away from great patriots who have been badly and unfairly treated for so long. Go home with love and in peace. Remember this day forever." Wow, what a bizarre quote. Okay. Trump used the word peace 4 times in the above paragraphs on January 6, 2021 in Washington, D.C. before the insurrection took place in front of the White House. Wow, he's calling it an insurrection. Isn't that interesting? He's referring to what happened as an insurrection. Does he believe that it was? Whereas Jesus used the word peace 3 times moments before he was captured and the insurrection took place. When I heard President Trump's words and I saw his face when he spoke to his supporters and I read the words of this tweets, he says, I once again recalled the scripture where Jesus, the Son of God, told his supporters that they shall be offended because of him this night. For it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered abroad. God, this is mind-numbingly stupid. In this previous paragraph, the dude says, Trump used the word peace 4 times, whereas Jesus used the word peace 3 times. So? Who cares? What does that have to do with anything? I don't understand. Trump used it 4 times, Jesus used it 3 times. So? He's like he seems to be using it as like the basis for the idea that like Trump is divine. This is just bizarre, dude. When the insurrection will take place, the judgment of Jesus, according to Matthew 27:24. Okay, let me start that sentence again. Wait, geez, I'm trying to look for the end of the sentence, and there is none. I have to go up an entire paragraph to find the end of a sentence. This is just one long run-on sentence. When I heard President Trump's words and I saw his face when he spoke to his supporters and I read the words of this tweets, I once again recalled the scripture where Jesus, the Son of God, told his supporters that they shall be offended because of him this night, for it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered abroad when the insurrection will take place, the judgment of Jesus, according to Matthew 27:24. That was one sentence. Didn't Trump supporters go home after the disastrous event when Judas, or Mike Pence, sold out Trump into the hands, Luke 24:7, of the demons, or Democrats, after the so-called liberal communist Jewish insurrection attempt blaming Trump? Wow, dude. I don't think I even understand what he's trying to communicate here. This is a confusing train wreck. Didn't the supporters of Jesus go home disappointed after the insurrection, for they believed that Jesus would overcome the Jewish mafia and defeat the demons, Democrats? The same went with Trump and his supporters on that day, the 6th of January, 2021. Jesus Christ, dude. This is something else. What is very interesting about the 6th of January, 2021, 22 Tevet 5781 Jewish calendar, is that in 1798, 22 Tevet mobs attempted to torch the Jewish ghetto of Rome, but rains put out the fire. The day was then designated as a holiday by Roman Jews. The Roman ghetto had been in existence since 1555, when the Pope segregated the Jews in a walled quarter with 3 gates that were locked at night. The Jews were also subjected to various restrictions and degradations? Why would he describe it as degradations? The condition or process of degrading or being degraded. A trail of human misery and degradation is the definition, if you didn't know. The Jews were also subjected to various restrictions and degradations, including having to attend compulsory Catholic sermons on Shabbat. During Rome's annual carnival, scantily clad Jews were forced to race along the main street while the crowd mocked them through trash and rained heavy blows. The event often proved fatal. Hygienic conditions inside the ghetto were terrible, and there was constant flooding from the nearby Tiber River? Tiber River? Oh, apparently it's a river in central Italy that rises in the Tuscan Apennines. I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying to read more of that and pronounce it wrong. Outside the ghetto, Jews were required to wear identifying yellow clothing. When Napoleonic forces occupied Rome, the ghetto was legally abolished in 1808, and the city of Rome tore down the ghetto walls in 1888. Okay, I don't know what any of this has to do with anything. Is history repeating itself once again with President Donald J. Trump as the son of man? What does he mean, is history repeating itself? What does any of this have to do with anything at all? This is a quote, apparently. Followers of the extreme pro-Trump conspiracy theory QAnon expressed disappointment on Wednesday after Joe Biden was officially sworn in as the 46th president of the United States. For weeks, supporters of the theory anticipated Biden's inauguration would lead to a great awakening, or a day when Donald Trump would finally expose a global network of elitists running a deep state government and sex trafficking ring and remain in office for a second term. But when the inauguration ceremony passed without incident, some believers were left feeling cheated and disappointed by the false theory. Others expressed that the movement was over and urged their fellow believers to wake up. This is supposedly a quote from Newsweek. I don't know how true that is. When reading these quoted words from Newsweek.com, I don't have any, problem believing that this came from Newsweek. But again, don't trust a word out of his mouth. Nothing, not even things that sound right. When reading these quoted words from Newsweek.com, it reminds me of the 2 men on the road to Emmaus, when Jesus appeared unto them after the resurrection. Jesus had also his movement when he stirred up the nation against the fake media or prophets and the Jews in Jerusalem, just like Trump did with Washington, D.C. The words of the 2 men unto Jesus have a striking resemblance when it comes to the supporters of President Donald Trump when they said unto Jesus the following, and then he quotes a bunch of Bible verses. I don't read his Bible verses. If I feel it's necessary to read them, I'll look them up myself. I don't trust a word out of his mouth. Trump supporters felt abandoned and left alone when Joe Biden was inaugurated, just like these 2 men felt on the road of Emmaus. Just after Biden was sworn into office, at Major Patriot, a prominent QAnon influencer who Trump retweeted multiple times before his account was suspended, maintained his support of the theory by writing, "We have just witnessed the biggest crime ever committed in the history of the United States, all on live television. This is how the disciples of Jesus must have felt like, I need to read this properly. This is how the disciples of Jesus must have felt like when Jesus was captured and killed by the Jews." This book is full of grammatical errors and confusing nonsense and repetitive bullshit all the way through. He just repeats himself over and over and over again. This just blows me away that this actually got published by somebody. Even if it was self-published, it's just bizarre. President Donald Trump, the Son of Man, is the reproduction of Jesus, the Son of God. The story of these 2 Christs is exactly the same. No doubt about that. Jesus was defeated by the Jewish leftist mafia, just like Trump. He thinks that Jesus was right-wing? The political right is the same across all countries. You can look at political parties across different countries and determine if they're left-wing or right-wing. The political right believes in traditionalism, traditional values, and strong adherence to religious values and ethics, fear of what's going on with people sexually, an obsession with the LGBT community. It's the same across all countries. The political left believes in acceptance and progressivism. The political right believes in traditional values and fear-mongering, generally. Does he think Jesus was right-wing? He would be incorrect if that's actually what he believes. The story of these two Christs is exactly the same, no doubt about that. Jesus was defeated by the Jewish leftist mafia, just like Trump. What they do not know is that Trump will stand on the right hand of God and defeat and destroy the Jews and liberals in Washington, D.C., for they have made it a den of thieves. And he's quoting Bible verses to back this assertion up. Mark 11:17. Absolutely insane. This is like a fever dream. Who kill the prophets and stone those sent to you, Luke 13:34. Just like Jesus, who called out Jerusalem as a den of thieves and who killed the prophets and stoned those sent to you, so did President Donald John Trump call Washington, D.C. the swamp. It is one and the same story. Washington, D.C. will be destroyed just as Jerusalem was destroyed and foretold by Jesus in Matthew 24 and Luke 21, that not one stone shall be left here upon another that shall not be thrown down. As the days of Jesus were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Everything is repetitive when you study the Torah and the Bible. Jesus Christ, dude, that was a confusing mess. I don't even understand what I just read. I'm just looking through. This is chapter 36. President Donald John Trump and the Red Republicans is the next chapter. I don't know. This is bizarre, man. Let me know what you think about it in the comments.